Everybody, welcome to the last episode, Book of Boba Fett, Hot Takes, Jason and Phil. I just realized we did a whole season. I don't use the normal intro for our show that has our names, so we never say who we are at the beginning of the shows. Anyway.
Everybody knows at this point.
I hope so. Yeah. That being said, welcome to the last show, Phil. Are you happy, sad, or are you just kind of, okay, that was a good ride, off to the next one?
I guess mostly that. I'd say it was enjoyable. It was good. I'm, excited to see for Mando season 3, but it's not like I wasn't excited before this. So
right.
So I kind of just continued that I want more from the Mandoverse, but it wasn't like I don't know if I'll go back and rewatch the whole thing or anything like that.
Well, I mean, like my point is usually like after Mando season 2, there was like an empty spot, like we're not getting any more.
Yeah.
After Boba, I'm like, okay. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, we do also.
Next.
I mean, it's also known that I guess what's it, May 25th we got the date for Obi-Wan.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah. So not too long of a wait for the next Star Wars.
Yeah, but that one's like not even in the Mandoverse. That's just cool Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's just completely. I'll recap the whole episode. Okay. And then we'll talk about the episode and the season as a whole. So
sounds good.
Some gangster stuff happens that should have been the whole movie show anyway. X-Wing shows up, and Grogu pops out. I groaned when I saw the X-Wing land on Tatooine. I was just like, oh, no. Because it was like, it would have been like too much Luke, right?
Yeah.
It would have been Luke overload. But happily enough, R2 was autopiloting that sucker, and Grogu pops out, which I was kind of, you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I was still kind of disappointed that he's not going to be like Jedi. He's just going to be gangster Baby Yoda. But
I mean, it'll come out later in the episode, but obviously he's still using his Force powers and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, but he's not going to be well, anyway, we know that there's no new Jedi anyway, so again, that whole Star Wars conundrum of we know what happens anyway. All right, so there's a big long shootout. Yay. It feels like everything is gone. Then the big droids show up. Then there was this stupid droid chase throughout the city. I mean, like, they weren't moving that fast, yet they were keeping up. They weren't very agile. Like, you could have split up at 90-degree angles and been completely safe. Like, go run down an alleyway or something.
Yeah. It also felt like the droid, at least when they were in the chase mode, the droids had about the same accuracy as stormtroopers.
Well, I mean, they weren't even shooting, right? Like, they were agile enough to, like, jump up and, like, stab people. But, like, I mean, that was ridiculous. And then you had, like, the shootout where the Freetown people are, like, behind, like a half wall or something, and what they're shooting about. Like, I'm glad I guess they don't make droids powerful enough to shoot through clay and dirt. Like, that's like the ultimate armor at this point. So that was kind of dumb. Then the Rancor comes, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you knew it was happening, although I still wonder why he didn't just bring his ship and shoot everyone. But
well, because he has a Rancor. You got to use the Rancor, right?
You got to use the Rancor, right? Well, he's got to ride his Rancor. Right?
Yeah, he should have gotten his ship and just shot everybody. I mean, we know he could do that because he showed
did it to the biker guy.
Exactly, like what's going on. And then
the Rancor scene was pretty cool. I got to admit.
And then was it a lot of fun. The foe on Discord was like, and then he just let the Rancor loose because he really cared about his tribe, right?
Right.
Then there was the show off with Cad Bane. Bane died after a little bit of a tussle. I'm pretty sure he's a classic bad guy. He just talked too much and gave Boba Fett enough time to turn the table. Yet there's speculation that he's not really dead.
Yeah, there was something beeping on his chest, which were like, was that a heart monitor? Is that it calling for backup, or who knows?
You never know in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things where he's probably dead, but if they ever need to bring him back, they can.
I mean, they brought back Maul. I mean, they could bring back Cad. I mean, granted, maybe his species heart isn't like right there. Maybe that's just that's his spleen or something, right? I don't know.
No, it can't. It's his liver, so he'll never drink again.
Exactly. Shame.
That was a cool scene, though. Like, just that it did confirm that unfinished Clone Wars episode that had about that Cad Bane trained Boba when he was a kid. I guess the plot for that was he wanted to train him to be a bounty hunter and then beat him in a duel to show that he's better than the Fets or something like that. But so it was nice to get a little confirmation.
More Clone Wars references. I'm sick of them. I think we should move past. Boba Fett retires. He's just walking down the street. Obviously, there was that scene where he says, "I don't know if this is meant for us," and then Fennec was like, but who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
And then we see the after scenes credit with Cobb Vanth, getting healed up, and he's the altruistic one.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the one that kind of like takes.
He's the
over.
marshal. So yeah.
So so that was the whole show, right? It was 40-something minutes long. It was basically one giant action scene.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I had a grin on my face when the Rancors busting stuff up. I mean, I rolled my eyes plenty of times because it wasn't a very well put together show. I mean, there's a lot of it felt like Star Trek, where like, why don't you just beam the Klingons off your ship and you win? Like, there was no logic, but that's fine. It's sci-fi, fantasy, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly.
All right. Any other comments directly on the details of this episode that you want to get at? Because I'm going to talk about the whole thing overall. It's going to be
there was a Wilhelm scream when the Rancor threw one of the guys, the pikes, so that was always nice to get that.
Threw them pretty far too.
Yeah. So not too much else. Yeah, we'll see what kind of happens, But I felt I guess the Gamoran guards were the only ones who died when they fell off the cliff. But other than that, it was
rather safe episode. Boba Fett didn't die, like a lot of people thinking that he might.
No major characters died.
We finally got to see Boba Fett being an awesome dude fighting, right?
The scene with, I guess it was part of the battle, but him and Mando kind of like two manning it, where with one guy went down, the other guy covered him and stuff like that. Like that was pretty cool that you got to see them both be kind of tough guys.
Yeah, no, I dug that only because we didn't see Boba Fett being an awesome warrior, right? We just got see him flopping around and sleeping in the back of the tank.
Oh, the other comment I did find funny was when Grogu lands and Peli picks him up and she's like, Grogu, that's a terrible name.
That was definitely a chuckle. I like that. Okay, so what are your predictions? Are we going to see Boba Fett ever again, other than maybe a cameo here and there in Mando season 4?
I think he's part of the Mandoverse, whatever that means. There is talk there might be a season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. I don't know.
More flashbacks?
I think he'll be like a regular recurring character, but not. I think it's going to go back to more just focused on Mando. So I don't think he's going to be like a regular, like in every episode type thing, but he might be, but more than a cameo, I guess I would say.
Fair enough. If we could just get off of Tatooine, but then Kenobi comes off, and then here we go.
I know.
All right, so I didn't really have any. I don't have any two comments. I think the show was fine, right? Overall, it felt like there was 3 bad episodes, 2 awesome Mando episodes, and then I didn't do the math properly. 3 bad episodes, 1 good Fett episode, 2 good Mando episodes, and then the finale, which was just kind of fun.
Yeah.
Right. Overall, I think they did a very poor job with the character. Because I'm not excited to see this Boba Fett anywhere else. There might be people that are like, I love Boba Fett, I want more of them, but they're thinking about like the comics Boba Fett, the video game Boba Fett, not the Boba Fett that we saw in this 5 hours and something minutes. Are you excited to see Boba Fett again? Well, what's your overall take of the whole thing?
Yeah, my overall take on the show is I kind of like the overall plot. I did think the finale did a good job of recapping and sort of ending the Book of Boba Fett. Everybody involved had a connection to Boba Fett, and it kind of showed how he evolved, and it got more into his tribe and protecting his people and stuff like that. So I think that wrapped it up well. It just was an uneven or I don't know, poorly structured series. The way they used the flashbacks wasn't great, and then they just stuck those 2 Mando episodes in, which were great, but like didn't really fit the rest of the series. And then they seem very important for Mando 3. So many people are joking, like, if you skip this and watch the beginning of Mando 3, you're like, wait, why is he with Grogu?
Is anybody skipping this?
I don't know.
Nobody's skipping this.
Probably not, or at least they would, watch the recap and get up to speed. But it just felt like that should have been part of Mando season 3.
I think he had like a 4 or 5 episode arc, and they're like, we need to make this 7 episodes. So they took like the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian and just aired them, essentially. Yeah. We don't need to go into the whole flashback stuff because we've been harping on that for every episode. I liked the one of the jokes either I saw in Discord, I also saw it on Twitter, that the Crimson Dawn was this episode's Mephisto.
Yeah.
From WandaVision. I never got the whole Crimson Dawn thing, I mean, I didn't see any references other than there's just crime lords, right?
Yeah, it was just that they thought if you watch some of the other YouTube channels like Star Wars Theory, like he was just convinced there had to be a bigger bad other than just the Pikes that are like running spice. And so he was trying to think of like who it would be, and he went kind of crazy thinking it'd be like dark force, force users and stuff like that. But it wasn't.
He gets carried away sometimes.
Yeah. So I think people just thought there's got to be something else. It can't be that. And I guess they used Cad Bane as kind of like the big bad guy, but I don't know. Yeah, it would have been, I guess, somewhat nice to have that, but it didn't.
It would never have fit because this story had no room for a larger story. And the way it was structured, anyway, right?
Exactly.
And what are you going to do with this goes for like Star Wars Theory dude? I can't remember his name. It's like Mike or something. He has some great theories. He has fun with it, whatever.
Oh yeah.
But it just goes to show you people that with Star Wars wants an epic storyline. They're always expecting like big things. And this show did not deliver big. It delivered big things on a smaller scale, right?
Yeah.
It's like when your small town USA has their like little 4th of July party parade. It's like 4 people in like an old school Cadillac and convertible or something, and a Miss Idaho goes by or whatever it is. But that's pretty big for that small town. But if you live in New York City, it's like a Tuesday. Yeah. And I think people that are Star Wars fans all live in New York City, and they don't live in backwaters Tatooine somewhere where like a Rancor running amok in your city is like a major event. So I had that issue with like I'm okay with small scale Star Wars, right? We had a back and forth on Discord where like you were like a little disappointed with me being a little bit negative on the show, and like I was saying, well, we need more, and it's kind of like the Disney kind of conversation we had. I could be negative about it, but I still love Star Wars when I'm watching Star Wars. I have a grin on my face every time I see a stormtrooper get shot. I have a grin on my face for whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I can still be disappointed, and I think we need more of a grander scale. But I'm okay with like low key if there's a bigger picture down the road. We don't know what the bigger picture is in Star Wars. We don't know what this is building towards. This is just like a cool Mando story. That's fine, because we spend all of our time speculating, well, he could take over Mandalore, and then he could fight the First Order. I mean, like, maybe it's just a story about Mando going through the world, like touching on, like, Luke Skywalker randomly in ways to kind of, whatever. Maybe it's just that, and that's all it is. And that's fine, and I'm having fun along the way. Problem is, people are searching for more because there's a demand for more, right, Phil? I mean, like, this is the only Star Wars there is. Yes, we're going to get Kenobi, and it's going to be amazing, hopefully. But it's, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And you brought this up even like with Marvel, where it's like, okay, Hawkeye was kind of a small scale thing, but that's great because you were also having the, No Way Homes and the Doctor Strange's 2 coming
we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. When this is the only Star Wars we have, and like you said, maybe it'll build a little bit with Ahsoka, get a little bit bigger, but we don't know when that next movie is or what that's going to be.
It can't build to anything bigger because we know what happens 20 years from now with the First Order and Palpatine comes back for whatever reason, right? That's why they need to just go away and move into the future or 1,000 years, like something, right? We got to get rid of it so we don't know what happens next.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're trying to go back to when Iron Man 1 timeline, and there's like a battle with Iron Man and I don't know whatever little superhero, but we know Endgame already happened, right? Yeah. We know where he ends up, and we're getting this.
Well, it's like kind of we're getting way off track now, but like kind of the challenge we had with like Black Widow, right? Where it's like it was a fine movie, but we know what happened, so it's
exactly.
Like it.
Good example.
You can't get that excited of it.
But now take Black Widow and just make it like a series of like 4 TV shows.
Yeah.
Rather than what could have been a blockbuster movie, pre-COVID. That being said, we really got to see where you could have small time epic with Mando, but like the timeline doesn't add up. Like for him to restore Mandalore to its former glory, we need a long timeline, right?
Yeah.
We need like 5 years in the future, then 10 years in the future, and all this other stuff, right? There's not going to be any epic battles. The Mandalorians are spread far and wide if there are any left, and they're blah 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 blah. So like the timeline would need to be accelerated. You can only really do that in a movie, right?
Yeah.
And then we talked about this last week about where their place is. I just hope what they do with Ahsoka is we don't get like half of Ahsoka is her story. That they're like, I hope Filoni can hold back on trying to tell her whole backstory to a new audience, or fill in the gaps between her confrontation with Vader in Rebels all the way to like whatever she did until this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's going to be some of that, but don't take 4 episodes to tell it.
Well, yes, I mean, like, but it or like don't like if you have like let's say you have a 7-episode budget, make it an 8-episode budget if you just want to tuck that story in. I don't think anybody's going to matter, right?
Yeah.
Or anybody's going to care. And then my other thing is like, with Ahsoka, you need to be progressing this. What is Ahsoka's story, right? What are they going to tell? Are they just going to tell the story about her? She wanders around moping about Ezra and Thrawn and all this other stuff, or is it going to build towards something?
Yeah.
Does it happen in the Mandoverse timeline in the next 10 years? Because again, we're talking about Thrawn again. We're not going to bore people that happen to be watching this again. I'm just asking questions. I mean, we got a final episode. What is Book of Boba Fett season 2 going to look like, right? There's no storyline there. He's now he's basically the mayor.
Yeah.
He's not a crime lord anymore. He's just basically the mayor now.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's walking the street. Everybody's giving him fruit. He's got his own little crew of chrysanthemum.
Yeah, which I guess was the whole fruit thing was a nod to Godfather Part 2 and stuff like that. So I guess he's still like kind of that mobster, but
he's the mayor's dead.
Yeah.
Right? Fennec killed the mayor.
Yeah.
There's no one there. He's
a de facto mayor, and especially if he's keeping spice off the world and stuff like that.
And
like he's looking out for his people, not just trying to make money.
Well, the Twi'lek person, right? He's kind of like lugged in with that crew now a little bit too.
That's true.
So do you have like an official now, right? That can be his secretary. I mean, like he's a politician at this point.
Yeah,
he's not trying to do crimes. Because a crime lord has to do crimes. It's part of the title, right? It's part of the title. I have to do crimes. Crimes means killing people and fighting people and taking people's stuff and selling it and smuggling it and doing all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
What is he going to do? Like he's walking the streets, yet he's going to be help promoting crime in the alleyways. Like it's like if he's like the Godfather, he's the Godfather doesn't rob the people in his neighborhood or his people, whatever, but he sells drugs and traffics drugs and whatever. If he's not doing spice, he's not taking over that. What is he going to do? He's going to like skip.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's getting tribute for offering protection, right? But from what?
Fine, but like if the Pikes aren't going to be there, what is it going to be like?
Yeah.
Season 2, we're going to now fight the Crimson Dawn, and then we're going to win. Yeah, I mean, like, but he's too nice, right? That's why I think they threw in that little. I
think that's why they threw in that comment thing, and I think he's going to leave the planet with Fennec and go do something else. Maybe it's going back with Mando or something like that. I don't know. Going
back with Mando would be too cheesy. I don't think he cannot. Mando's better when he's either solo or with Grogu, right? Like they do their thing, and where Mando assembles his thing. Now that you've given Boba Fett his own show and you've seen him, he doesn't mesh well with the with Din Djarin, because he's like, you still believe in that nonsense creed stuff? He doesn't buy into any of that stuff, right? He's just a dude with his dad's armor or his armor, and he remembers his dad. That's all he is. He's not a Mandalorian per se, really, right? He doesn't buy into the stuff, right? He's just badass dude with weapons. So like, I don't see him fitting in with.
Yeah, I guess more just they would go off and probably intersect with Mando at some point, but not like really part of his crew. No.
What is he going to do? Like go crime somewhere else now? He doesn't like if he had a perfect spot to like, I'm just going to kill the Pikes and then I'm going to be the crime lord. But now they showed all the citizens loving him. Like what? That's what I don't get.
Like, I don't know. Does he roam the galaxy looking for people to like kind of like the A-Team?
Or he's going to be the galactic Robin Hood now, right?
Yeah,
like, that would be awful. But I would love to see it just because how awful it would be. All right, I don't know if we're off track or not, but like that's what this type of show kind of does, right? Like okay, it ended.
Yeah,
great. There was no epic ending. The battle was just a battle. The droids were cool, right? Yeah. The production values were pretty darn good. Oh, one other point. Cobb Vanth in the post-credit scene, the modding doctor dude was there, right?
Yeah.
He's going to modify him somehow.
Yeah. So I don't know if he'll give him a robotic arm because he got kind of hit in the shoulder, right?
Like right up in here.
Yeah.
So Cobb Vanth is a dope character, right? Everybody loves him. My one major disappointment with this last episode was like he didn't come back fast enough to get like duel part 2 against Cobb Bane. So we're gonna see him again, right? You don't put him in a post-credit scene and never see him again, right? It's just like, does he get his own show? Because I do not want to see another Marshall episode on Tatooine. I don't need that in my life.
Yeah, like you said, we need to get off Tatooine.
Yes. So where does Cobb fit in the future of Star Wars? The fact that they gave him the post-credit scene. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm just setting the thing. They gave him emphasis by saying, like, they could have been like, he's alive, right? And if he's not going to use him again, you could have a throwaway line or whatever. But they gave him the post-credit. That usually means something.
I think he takes over the town. I think that line where Boba's like, we're not cut out for this or whatever, we're not the right people for this. I think he takes it over and that's it. I don't know if he does anything else.
But he's going to be in a show somewhere, right? Like, you don't see him in the back to tank. You don't see him about to be modified and in whatever to not do anything with the character. Even if it's like Mando comes back to Tatooine to pick something up, right?
Yeah.
There might be a scene where he has to go and get his stuff repaired, so he has to come back, and it has like do they just do that post-credit scene just to give him that, like, show him like a cool like get up, and he's kind of like, I'm now the mayor, and that's it? That's all you do with him?
I think so.
But you don't have to do that. See, here's my confusion, and I could be completely misreading this. Usually with the post-credit scenes, that means something for the future, right? They don't wrap things up in the post-credit scenes. I think
it means something for the future that he'll be around. I just don't think there's going to be – I don't think he's going off planet and doing stuff. I mean, I think it's just to reaffirm that he's around and he'll be a character, and that's that.
But that means we have a character on Tatooine we have to come back and see.
I know. Well, yeah.
I don't know. The only way I could think of it is we want to show that he's alive. So in combination with Fett's statement, this is not us, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe we're supposed to be sitting here on the internet like a bunch of boobs saying like, oh, let's put those two together. That means Boba Fett is going to go off planet and he's going to get bored and he's going to go do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna wrap it up with this. I had to go back and watch previous episodes to realize that they changed the final theme song of Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, that they inserted the words Boba Fett.
I thought that was all. I was listening to it. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Wait, has this been here the whole time? Because I usually skip the end credits. Once I'm like, I had to go back and listen a couple. I'm like, oh, I wasn't crazy. I did actually remember something. What do you think about that? Was it cool or was it corny?
I thought it was pretty. I liked it. I guess I don't necessarily get why change it just for the ending. Why couldn't that have just been the song the theme song to the whole season?
Because I think it would have been corny the whole time, chanting Boba Fett. But you've been listening to this cool music, right? The music is top notch.
I'm not saying, just like at the end, just for the credits, not like during the show or anything.
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm just saying, like, if it's not in the credits at all, like, you've been hearing this one theme song, and then, like, it happened to me, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, did I just hear something? And it's just like, oh, that is pretty neat. I don't know. It's just it's a little nice little thing to kind of finish off the series. All right, and a scale 1 to 5, with I can't think off the top of my head or on my feet with this one. A scale of 1 to 5. What do you give the Book of Boba Fett?
I think I give it a 3. It had good moments, but the structure was way off. And some of the best parts didn't involve Boba Fett. But I still enjoyed it. There's a lot of fun parts to it. And fun Star Wars is still fun Star Wars. So, I'm not going to give it like a 1 or something. So, about a 3.
I think I have to go with that. Like 3.5. Because because on the scale of Star Wars, you still have to put the lows of the prequels and the super lows of the sequels kind of somewhere, right? That's the bottom moments of the Star Wars verse. This was nowhere near bad Star Wars.
Right.
I think its floor is mediocre Star Wars. Right? Like the flashbacks and whatever. And some of the battle scenes and the Mando stuff and all that other. I mean, that's top notch Star Wars too. So I mean, like a 3.5. I think overall is pretty good. Unfortunately, I'm not disappointed that it's over, and I should be disappointed that it's over because we should have gotten, I think, a much better story. And they could have done so much with all the crime lord stuff and everything else. Yeah. And kind of like you could have used this as a stepping stone for more. I don't. We could go here.
Yeah, we're just gonna go back in a circle, but yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. All right, we're gonna cut out here. This Sunday we have a random guest coming on. I guess she's not random, but she's the latest. Didn't we announce her name 2 weeks ago as a new joiner? She's gonna hop on Discord. She has her own podcast. Which I don't think you should listen to around children. It's
at least not the last.
It's adult rated. There's adult language on there. We will not have adult language on our show.
Yes, she's been warned.
But she was enthusiastically wanted to come on, and I think their last episode of the podcast I gave a listen to her a couple minutes. What is it? What is the name of it? I had it right here in front of me, and my screen's off, and I don't want to get it wrong.
So it was M1. It was the Mouse Step podcast, but it's like they're kind of redoing things, so they're calling it M Plus, I think, for the next stage of it.
That's cool. So you're gonna hop on. We're just gonna talk Disney. Nothing fancy. Just kind of another voice amongst us two droning bearded dudes on the internet.
I was gonna say at least it's not another bearded dude.
That's right. Yes, we have a little bit of diversity on this podcast for at least for 1 week. That being said, guys, have a great week, and we'll catch you on Sunday, guys. Take care.
Take care.